Key testimony this afternoon in a murder trial for the man accused of driving drunk and killing a former UofL cheerleader.
WDRB's Monica Harkins details both sides hope this one expert could be the turning point. Monica?
Scott and Gil, the jury is still hearing testimony for the last couple of hours, actually, from Dr. Bill Smock. He's a medical forensic specialist. He did several things in this case. He reviewed Bradley Caraway and his injuries. He reviewed the crash site, and he also looked over Shanae Moorman, who is the victim, her autopsy in this case. Now, the defense is trying to say that Dr. Smock is not the key medical expert and should show that it is not Bradley Caraway, that the evidence is proving that Bradley Caraway is not guilty. I explain all of that. Take a listen.
7 years after the crash that killed 25-year-old Shanae Moorman, a jury is hearing arguments on if Bradley Caraway was the driver at the time of the crash. No one saw the wreck, and they both had been drinking. One of the prosecution's main arguments is the driver's side seatbelt showed it had been used. So that shows Caraway was driving.
So most likely somebody who is ejected from a car is not wearing a seatbelt.
And we know Miss Moorman was ejected from the car. That's the history that you received.
That's the history given to me, yes.
While Caraway's attorney is trying to argue it's possible Caraway wasn't driving.
You're not a, quote, seatbelt expert, correct?
I am not a seatbelt expert.
One of the key witnesses, though, is Dr. Bill Smock, who has about 40 years' experience in medical forensics and analysis of car crashes.
Mr. Caraway was the driver.
He also analyzed Caraway's injuries.
That is the type of mark that's consistent with wearing a seatbelt.
Dr. Smock says there were pieces of glass in Caraway's head at the scalp and scratches, which shows he hit the driver's side windshield. The defense then questioned Smock's testimony of mention of more glass in Caraway's cheek.
Here's a key piece of evidence, glass in his cheek, and we don't have it, do we?
The defense then tried to discredit Smock's resume.
I think we're splitting hairs. I was trained as the demeanor to act.
And that testimony for the defense attorney trying to question Dr. Smock on his resume and, of course, his expertise is still going on right now here at the Judicial Center. And this is just the prosecutor's list of witnesses that we're going through right now for day 4 of witness testimony. So we still have to hear the defense's witnesses, which tells us it could still be a few more days in this trial before closing arguments.
I know you'll stay on top of it. Thanks, Monica.